Mackerel, look at you. Look at you. I thought I'd be ready after reading your file, but there were no pictures. And gosh, you're beautiful. I'd never seen anything like you before. You're a dream come true. Is it true that you're able to alter your sex depending on the preferences of the humans you interact with? Sequential hermaphroditism isn't unheard of, especially among aquatic species, but only over time, and never as a way to attract prey. Being able to do it at will is just... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting too excited. I shouldn't be saying all this when we just met. Let me get introductions out of the way. My name is Ondine Phillips, but please, just call me Deenie. Ondine is a name for someone with a doctorate. What about you? Do you have a name? Your file called you Subject 01, but now that I see you, I don't really want to call you that. It feels weird. Come on. Don't be shy. They moved you into a tank with an above-surface environment for a reason. I want to talk to you, and I know you're smart enough for that. Wait. I bet I know what you're thinking. Why would they let me speak above water when I lure humans to a watery grave with my singing? I'm right, aren't I? Well, my aquatic friend, there are a couple reasons for that. Reason number 1, both the lid on your tank and the glass it's made from are sturdy stuff. I could start beating it with one of these chairs and it wouldn't even crack, and I'd need a blowtorch to force open that lock on the lid. Reason number 2, we're both being watched right now. If I start trying to climb into your tank, break it open, or any other funny business, then a team of security guards and noise-canceling headphones will be through that door before you can sing another note. Reason number 3, and this is the one I'm excited about, is because I'm actually conducting a little experiment. I'm sure you've noticed these already. You see, I'm what you call auditorially challenged. Been like this ever since I was born. Without these fancy little gadgets, I can't hear a thing. Explaining how they work would take a while, but basically, they take sounds, process them, and amplify them in a way that lets me hear. You following so far? Good. Now, from what I heard, you caused some major problems when they first brought you in. They tried keeping you in an open-air enclosure, and you tried to drown the first person they sent in to observe you. You probably would have if the security guard watching the live feed hadn't sent in backup. I'll admit, though, it's partially Dr. Roberts' fault. The fisherman that passed you along to us said we should keep you muzzled at all times. Roberts was the one who convinced the higher-ups to take it off.
You actually believe that crap? Geez, I didn't know they hired preschoolers in here. Why don't you go pick up a coloring book from the gift shop and leave the examinations to the professionals?
Between you and me, I almost wish you had drowned him. He's been on leave for the past 2 weeks, and honestly, this place has never been quieter. It's great. But that's not important right now. What is important is the whole fiasco provided interesting bit of information. Your singing only works in person. Whatever hypnotic effect your voice has is lost when audio is digitized. Or maybe it only works if the subject is in the same room as you. Either way, it didn't work on the guard. When I heard that little tidbit, I got curious. Would my hearing aids change your singing in a way that removes the effect? I practically had to get on my knees and beg my superiors to let me try this. Before I showed up, they were talking about getting some waterproof sound equipment in your old tank to enable two-way communication. But if the only requirement is proximity, then we'd still be at risk. Sure, we could just keep a tight lid on your tank, but it'd be hard to run tests when the scientists keep trying to drown themselves. And if we muzzled you again, we'd have to work out a nonverbal way for you to respond to questions, and honestly, it would just be a pain. Besides, if my theory is right, then I'm a shoo-in for this project. What better person to study you than the one person you can't lure into water? I might even be able to convince the higher-ups to let me lead this project. Can you imagine that? Little Deenie Phillips leading the examination of the first fully sentient aquatic species. That'd show 'em. So come on, get your head above water and let me hear that pretty voice.
You know, when I pitched this idea to my superior, he said the same thing. Miss Phillips, I don't know if you're brave enough or just plain stupid. I'll tell you what I told him. I'm neither. I'm just dedicated to my job. Discovery means taking risks, and if no one else will do it, then I will. Now quit stalling. You won't get in any trouble if I try and get in your tank. And even if I could break into it, the guards would stop me. It's totally risk-free. Pinky promise. Actually, wait. You probably don't know what that is. Look, can you just sing Pretty Please with whatever it is you like to eat on top? Wow. You know, the security guard said you sounded great, but I never thought. Gosh, your singing is incredible. But it looks like my theory was right. As nice as you sounded, it's not enough to make me want to break into your tank. You look pretty surprised. I don't blame you. This is probably the first time someone's listened to your song and not tried to drown themselves. Don't get discouraged, though. Think of it this way. You finally have an audience member that can ask you for an encore. Now that that's out of the way, do you feel like telling me your name? Or should I just keep calling you Subject 01? Where am I? That's a funny name. Or am I not one to talk? Okay, I'll be serious. Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not allowed to tell you where this facility is located. Something about it being a security hazard. I don't know how, considering that you couldn't get out of the tank even if you did have legs instead of a tail. Guess it's just one of those professionalism things. Wait, no one's told you what this facility is? Really? I knew the others weren't very chatty, but geez, rude. In that case, allow me to give you a formal welcome to E&E Marine Research Laboratory. We're the biggest and best-funded marine research facility in the country. We study everything from phytoplankton to blue whales, but we've never been able to see anything like you before. That's why you were brought to us for study. No better place to find out what makes you tick. Don't look at me like that. Would you rather we'd left you with the fisherman that caught you? From what I hear, he was pretty ticked off. If he hadn't gone all over town talking about you and gotten our attention, he probably would have gutted you like a fish. Can't say I blame him, though. From what he told the extraction crew, you drowned his husband. It was just bad luck. Well, bad luck for you, anyway. That you drowned someone married to a deaf fisherman. Can't lure someone to a watery grave if they can't hear you calling after all. So, why did you do it? The drowning thing. What do you get out of it? Is it purely a defense mechanism, or is it for attracting prey? Maybe both? You're not wrong. You don't have to tell me anything. You could just go back in the water and sulk at the bottom of the tank until I have to leave. But really, is talking to me that bad? The others either talk about you like you're a big fish, or a serial killer. I'm probably the only one who's given you a decent conversation since you got here. No, I'm not saying you have to thank me. I'm saying that I'm probably your only shot at being treated like a person. Do you know what happens if you give me the silent treatment? I come back later and run other tests. I don't need you to talk to me to find out how you work. I can take all sorts of samples instead. Skin, hair, scales, blood. And that's just surface level stuff. Torture you? Jeez, what kind of place do you think this is? We don't torture test subjects. Especially not ones that can talk. Sure, some people here would argue that you deserve it, what with the drowning thing, but luckily for you, I'm not one of them. I'd be more than happy to arrange for some topical anesthetics for any invasive tissue sampling, so long as you work with me. Look, I think your choice should be pretty clear. You play nice with me, and I make sure your stay here is as painless as possible. I'll even come here and chat with you during my breaks so you don't get lonely. Otherwise, I treat you like I treat every grumpy fish I study. That, unfortunately, isn't something I can do, no matter how nice you play with me. You're a man-killer, 01. Even if we've only confirmed one of your victims, I'd bet my job that you've been drowning humans for a while. If you weren't such a rare specimen, the higher-ups would have taken their samples and euthanized you. You're never going to leave this facility. I probably could have broken that news better. Sorry. If it makes you feel better, since you're the only one of you we have, they won't do anything that would put your life at risk. You'll be able to live a long life here. And if you have me in your corner, I can make sure it's a comfortable one. As comfortable as it can get, anyway. Look, I'll give you some time to think about it. My experiment was a success. I don't need to spend any more time here today. And something tells me you want to be alone. I meant what I said, you know. I really don't care about the drowning thing. I'm just interested in learning more about you.